Alright, now it's time to talk about my top 7 worst movies of 2017. And like I said, this time is going to be a bit different because I'm only doing animated movies. I didn't really see a lot of bad live-action movies last year, so I'm just not including them at all. However, I did see a lot of bad animated movies last year, because 2017 was just really kind of sucky for animation, at least mainstream animation. There was some great stuff around the indie scene and the anime scene, but I'll talk about that in my best list. Starting with number 7 is Boss Baby. This definitely wasn't the worst thing that came out in 2017. It was just kind of like a... why? It's from DreamWorks, and it's based on a children's book, which they tend to do a lot with DreamWorks. It had some interesting ideas in the movie, but it just kind of fell short for me. However, if you are curious, I wouldn't say it's that bad of a watch. I think it's actually on Netflix now, so you can go check it out. So, the fact that I'm telling you that you can check it out for number 7 means that these other ones are going to be a lot worse than that. Because these next 6 are going to be so bad that I wouldn't really recommend anybody watching them, unless they want to watch them to suffer. Number 6 is The Nutjob 2. Now, I was surprised that I kind of like this movie a lot more than some of the other movies on this list, because the original Nutjob, man, I really hated the characters in that movie. And it's not really any different here because the characters are still kind of hateable. It's just only a little bit more tolerable than the first one. Number 5 is The Star from Sony Pictures Animation, and they're going to show up later, you'll see. This is about the first Christmas and the birth of Jesus Christ. I don't know why they chose to make a movie about that, because Sony Pictures Animations doesn't really seem like a Christian studio at all. But it definitely feels like one of those weird direct-to-video Christian movies. It has that very weird vibe to it. And this is told through the animal's perspective, so it's even worse. But really, overall, it was just kind of mediocre, but the more I think back on it, yeah, it was kind of bad. Now this next one is Despicable Me 3, and that one made me angry, because, man, that one character of Gru's brother that was advertised all in the trailers was more annoying than I thought he would be. He's incredibly annoying. I hated him more than the Minions. In fact, he made the Minions more tolerable when they cut away to them. Despicable Me 3 may be better animated than the last 2 movies, but man, it is all over the place with its plots. And yes, I said plots, because there's multiple subplots in this. Number 3 is Tom and Jerry, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's bad enough that Tom and Jerry have been reduced to this weird thing where they just go do crossovers with different things. And this one is just really strange because it's Willy Wonka. It's basically just retelling the movie or the book and just inserting Tom and Jerry, and that's it. It seems really lazy. It's just an animated version of Willy Wonka. They pretty much hit all of the exact same beats, it's just with a lot of really weird stuff in there and some very awkward animation. It's the first direct-to-video movie on this list, but it's not the only one, because number 2 is Surf's Up 2 Wave Mania. I have no idea why this exists. Why is there a sequel to Surf's Up, which is actually a pretty alright movie, but like a WWE crossover? Why? It makes absolutely no sense. They made the wrestlers into surfers? Why? And there are some really, really strange moments in this movie. I would just recommend watching it just to riff on it. After seeing this, you're gonna want to go milking those fish for that fish milk. And now for my number 1 worst animated movie of 2017, and I think you all know what it is, and it's the Emoji Movie. Of course, what else would it be? Now, the Emoji Movie might be better animated than some of the movies on this list, but I just really hate what it stands for. It's just this, like, corporate greed and trying to, like, make something on a trend and try to make it popular for whatever reason, and just hopping on it and like, copying things like Inside Out and the Lego Movie and Wreck-It Ralph, and just failing so badly. They're just looking at what other animation studios are doing and saying, hey, let's do something like that, not understanding what made it good. I feel bad for some of the animators that had to work on this, just knowing that the story was trash. This is one of the worst things that Sony Pictures Animation has ever put out, and this is talking about the same studio that put out the Smurfs. Not the one from 2017, that one was actually pretty okay, I think, but the other ones. And it doesn't look like they're going to get any better, seeing that they also made The Star, and Peter Rabbit is about to come out, and that doesn't look very good to me. Maybe Marvel can beat them into shape with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but so far Sony Pictures Animation is one studio that I have pretty much the least faith in. And that's saying a lot because I really don't like Illumination. So those were my top 7 worst animated movies of 2017. If you have seen any of them for whatever reason, tell me what you thought of them down in the comments. And I'll see you next time with my top 7 best animated movies of 2017, which will be my last list. So see you then. Bye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, by now we're getting a bit used to winter. We're like soldiers in the middle of a campaign, growing hardened to discomfort and better able to take